Hey everyone, welcome to your video about counterpoints. Today our objective is that you will understand how to find and respond to counterpoints in order to make your argument really strong. So as you know, you've been researching a social issue of your choice, and I'm sure by now you probably have some strong opinions about this topic, right? All of your social issues are topics that have multiple sides to them. They're things that people feel really strongly about and debate, and they have kind of two opposing viewpoints, right? So in your podcast, you're going to present the side of this argument that you are on, and you're using all this strong evidence to support your opinions. In order to make a really strong argument about this topic, we need to think about how the other side of this debate might respond to your points in order to strengthen our own arguments. So your point is the argument or the opinion that you have about your topic. A counterpoint or a counter-argument is an argument that goes against your point. Even though you likely won't agree with counterpoints, it's important to understand how people with other points of view would try to argue against you so that you can anticipate or expect their argument and be ready with a rebuttal. And a rebuttal is just a word for the response that will address the counterpoint and show that your point is stronger. So you are really trying to back up your opinion on the social issue with a lot of evidence and facts and anticipating the counterpoints to make your point even stronger. So let's look at a couple examples so that you understand what this looks like. If your social issue was clean energy, if that was your topic, a point that you might make would be windmill use should be expanded to generate more clean energy. A counterpoint, or someone on the opposite side of this argument, might respond to that point by saying, some people argue that windmills are an inefficient use of space and can pose a danger to many species of birds. So the rebuttal is you responding to that counterpoint and saying why your point is actually right. So your rebuttal might be, however, investing in research can improve windmill technology so that it is safe and effective. So this responds directly to the counterpoint. Let's look at another example about school uniforms. So if your topic was school uniforms and you were trying to argue that you did not think school uniforms were a good idea, you might make the point that requiring school uniforms can be damaging for students. Someone on the opposite side of this debate might say, some feel that uniforms provide a sense of community and show that everyone at school is the same. You could respond to that point by saying, however, uniforms can be prohibitively expensive for some families, making those students feel more like outsiders. So this point, it says, actually, uniforms can be really expensive, which means that some families struggle to afford them, and that can make those students feel like they're not a part of this school community, or that they're not all the same. So you see how your rebuttal responds to this counterpoint and says, here's why I don't agree with that. So you want to make sure that your rebuttal responds directly to the counterpoint instead of just using an unrelated idea about your topic. So this is an example of a good rebuttal to a counterpoint. So if the topic is zoos and whether zoos are a good thing or a bad thing, someone might say, some argue that zoos are a form of animal cruelty by forcing animals to be on display in small environments. So that's the counterpoint, saying that zoos are a form of animal cruelty. You might respond to this by saying, however, responsible zoos rely on scientific research to provide enclosures that include the space, enrichment, and natural features each animal needs. So this rebuttal responds directly to the counterpoint and says, good zoos are not a form of animal cruelty because they provide everything that the animal needs in their enclosure. This is an example of what not to do. You're going to see the same counterpoint, and then the rebuttal is not at all related to that point. So if the counterpoint is some argue that zoos are a form of animal cruelty by forcing animals to be on display in small environments. However, zoos can be a huge source of tourism and raise lots of money for their communities. Okay, that might be true. It might be a positive part of zoos is that they raise money in tourism, but that does not at all respond to this counterpoint about animal cruelty. So those two things are not related, and that wouldn't really help your argument. So this is what not to do. All right, so now it is your turn. based on the research that you've done so far, I want you to brainstorm 2 counterpoints for your topic. So that's arguments that contradict and argue against your point. So think about the point of view that you have, the opinion that you have about your topic, and then try and put yourself in the shoes of the opposite side. What would someone say who disagrees with you? Record each of the counterpoints you come up with in your packet, and then come up with a rebuttal or a response that directly responds to that counterpoint and supports your own point of view. Make sure that your rebuttals respond directly to the counterpoints and are based on research and evidence. Remember, we are using noteworthy evidence to support our claims and make us even more trustworthy about this topic. All right, good luck.